gossip and entertainment only. Let's get started.
Hello, gossipers. Sharoni here. Welcome to Gossip in the Dark. So we're going to talk Nick Cannon and Terrell Owens, right? These are two entertainers. Of course, Terrell is in sports, Nick is entertainment. And both of them had their managers or assistant for 15 to 20 years, right? But what they didn't know is that these managers were taking money from them. And because they trusted in these people for so long, they did not realize it. They did not keep count of it. Now, we're going to read a couple articles for Nick and for Terrell. But, it's sad that you're in a world where you can't trust anyone, business-wise, basically. Same for family, of course, but we're talking about them business wise. And to see that these were people that were with them for so long. And I think, is it Nick Cannon? I don't know if they noticed with his manager, if it was around 2021 to 2023, he was taking all this money. So this man had at least over 10 years with Nick before started doing this. And I think the one for Nick, he ran away. I think he ran to Uganda. I don't know if they have what's the word? Where you extradition? Is that the word? Where you could, go and get and send them back to the country. Now they're saying the one with Nick, he has dual citizenship, right? So in Uganda and here in the US. Because I wanted dual citizenship with Jamaica, but Jamaica they didn't have it. I was wondering if they have it with England, but I don't think. I think they have it with England. I'm not sure. That's something you would have to look into. Anyways, so he ran to Uganda. Now with Terrell Owens, we're gonna get into the article, but you know what? Let's get to Nick Cannon. So this summary is from the Blackstein, I think it's pronounced. So it says Nick Cannon trusted this man with his money for nearly 20 years. Frank Musoki, I think I'm butchering, but I'm just gonna go ahead and call him Frank. So if you hear Frank, that's the gentleman who stole money from Nick Cannon. He's a former accountant manager at a Beverly Hills management firm, now faces an 8-count federal indictment for allegedly stealing more than $2 million from the entertainer over several years. Prosecutors say Frank uses access to Cannon's debit cards and PIN numbers to withdraw roughly $1.7 million from ATMs and spend money on personal travel and Amazon purchases. The firm fired him in 2023, so Frank got fired in 2023 after discovering the missing funds. He's now charged with 5 counts of wire fraud and 3 counts of tax evasion for allegedly failing to report the stolen income on his federal tax returns between 2021 and 2023. Frank, he's 38, allegedly fled to Uganda where he holds dual citizenship with the United States. Authorities have not confirmed whether he has been apprehended. If caught and convicted, Frank could face up to 20 years in prison for each wire fraud. Damn. Cannon has been a client of the firm for nearly 2 decades, making the alleged betrayal even more significant. So yes, almost 20 years with that company. So was he with Frank for all 20 years? It would sound like it, right? But like I said earlier, it sounds like this was for 2 years, right? Between 2021 and 2023. And he what they said? He wire fraud in 3 counts. So you have 5 counts of wire fraud. And it says that he can face 20 years in prison for each wire fraud. So 5 times 20, that's 100 years. So basically, this man will be spending the rest of his life in jail if they get to ship him back to the US. But like I said, so I don't think he was with Nick the full 20 years. He was with the company, it sounds like. And to draw 1.7 million from ATM machines. So because he used Nick's PIN number. Now, wouldn't you have to have the card with Nick Cannon's name on it, or did he make himself like a authorized user on the account, right? But then to create the PIN, wow. So yes, he's in Uganda, and right now we have no word on if he'll be arrested there or what's going on. And when they talk about, wire fraud, then you're wondering, was he sending money to Uganda, knowing that one of these days he's going to get caught, and maybe he knows Uganda is one of those countries that won't ship you back to the US. But yes, hopefully, Nick gets his money. And I hear that a lot of these celebrities, they play rich and everything like that, but they don't have money like that. I mean, for them, their broke is rich broke. If you get what I'm saying, right? The celebrities, the millionaires, when they're broke, it's rich broke. Compared to us regular people, when we're broke. Them, they can still live a life. We have to struggle to continue the life we're already struggling with. But yes, gossipers, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, it says that failing to report stolen income on his federal taxes between 21 and 23. He's only 38 years old, and we just have to keep watching, see where it goes. So we're gonna go on to Terrell Owens. Now, Terrell Owens, he said that he did not want to take it to social media, right? But if you know, social media is like a den of demons, but yet still you can find good out of social media. So, to get the word out, for it to spread, to trend, to go viral, to just go on social media, and you'll get your point out. It's something that will spread very, very quickly to whom it needs to go to. Or if people are a huge fan of Terrell Owens, they would want to have his back and support him in any adventure. So we're gonna read this quick article. With Terrence, it's another name to pronounce, a last name, so I'm just gonna go with Heather. So it says Terrell Owens accuses longtime manager Heather Misalam of stealing money from him. So it says Owens shared receipts, texts, and years of financial frustration as he accused Heather Misalam, again, I'm just going to say it, Heather, of unauthorized pay increases and financial betrayal. So it looked like she was increasing her pay, right? Without approval. Hall of Fame wide receiver Terrell Owens says he has cut ties with his longtime manager after accusing her of stealing money from him, bringing years of financial trauma and distrust back into public view. On Sunday, May 17th, Owens posted a series of screenshot accounting records and text messages on Instagram targeting Heather, whom he said had handled his business affairs for more than 15 years. In the caption, Owens called Heather a liar and a thief and confirmed she is no longer working for me in any capacity. A person can only take so much, Owens wrote. When you're managing someone's affairs and getting paid to do it, you have to be accountable for it. He added that he debated taking the situation public before ultimately deciding to address it himself. Like I said earlier, he debated, but he knows what social media can do, right? If I had stolen from someone, I'd be all over the news, he wrote, mentioning ESPN and sports media personalities who he believes would heavily scrutinize him under similar circumstances. So I'm guessing he's talking probably Stephen A. Smith, allegedly. The former San Francisco 49ers star also tied the situation to broader conversations around athlete mental health, referencing recent deaths and mental health struggles involving former football players. Owen said financial betrayal and stress are often hidden from public view. It's stuff like this that people don't see, he wrote. It's what triggers us as athletes. According to the screenshots Owen shared, Heather monthly management payment allegedly increased from 1,300 to 1,500 without his approval. In one text exchange, Owens allegedly confronted her directly, writing, "Without my knowledge, that's stealing." So, payment increase. So was she making 13 a month? Okay, let's say according to the screenshots Owen shared, Heather monthly management payment allegedly increased from 13 to 15 a month. No, that doesn't. Gossipers, let me know. Yeah, let me know. That doesn't sound right. Unless she was getting her regular pay, but then she added, 1300, sorry, to it. So let's say she was getting 3,000 a month, then she added 1,300, so it'd be 3,000. It would be 4,300 a month. And then when she was getting away with that, then she added 200 more. So, you could do the math. So if she was regularly paid 3,000 a month and then she went to 13, that would be 43. Then she went to 15. So that would have been 4,500 a month, right? Because that's what it has to be saying. Let me see. The dispute landed years after Owens publicly discussed losing millions during and after his NFL career. In previous interviews, he described trusting financial advisors and representatives who mishandled his money, including fallout connected to financial advisor Jeff Rubin and former agents Drew and Jason Rosenhaus. Rubin was linked to a wider financial scandal that impacted dozens of NFL players and reportedly led to losses totaling more than 40 million between 2008 and 2011. He said, "I hate for myself for letting this happen," Owens previously told GQ while discussing those financial setbacks. "I believe that they had my back when they said, 'You take care of football and we'll do the rest.'" Ugh, yeah, you can't. If it was me, every month I would be asking for an accounting, especially if you know how you spend. Once you know how much your mortgage is, once you know how much you usually spend for light bill, water bill, if you know you're going out to eat and you have an idea, you got to keep up on this. And I get it, they're telling you the big bucks and you're happy, and then they tell you just go play ball, we're going to make sure you're taken care of, but behind closed doors. But then again, with these managers, don't they realize that the day will come where some kind of accounting it's not going to add, it's not going to match, and then that leaves you in the position of you're stealing, you're lying, what's going on? To go all these years because you're getting away with it, right? So you're comfortable now and you're like, yes, I can get away with it so I can keep taking, not even thinking eventually this will come back on you. Those people are brazen and bold to think they can just steal, and think that because this person has this amount of money, they won't realize that $1 million or $2 million is missing. That is a lot of money. Like I said, there is rich poor and there's poor poor. We're poor, but we still gotta live. Anyways, gossipers, what are your thoughts? I mean, do you blame these athletes for not keeping up on their financial accounts to make sure everything is legit and everything is being drawn or taken out the way it's supposed to? Let me know, gossipers. As always, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching and listening.